What kind of person becomes a VTuber? A misfit, a burnout, someone chasing the dream of real friendship, or maybe through the power of Live 2D, become a cute anime girl. Whatever the reason, one thing's for sure: VTubing is more than content. It's a community. It's chaos. It's weirdly therapeutic. So why do we join this bizarre, beautiful society? Well, I joined because it reminds me of anime conventions. Of course, there's this weird, stinky side, like convention stink, convention flu, inappropriate touching. But also, there's this amazing side, like cosplay, people accepting you for who you really are, and others helping to support you and be there for your lows and highs. For example, going to a convention in cosplay, people give you weird looks if not move away from you. But once you're at the convention, you're just part of the community. You even get stopped and asked for pictures, which is an amazing feeling because it's just everyone accepts you, no matter what you're cosplaying. They just accept you. Whatever you do, don't think about googling hot 60 male gender bend cosplays if you value your immersion with my character. But another personal story is that the community will support you. For instance, if you run out of batteries, you just yell out, "I need AA batteries," and someone will give you AA batteries. If your cosplay breaks and you need a glue guns, people will give you the glue and gun and be like, "I'll be at so panel," and be like, "Yeah, I'll meet you there." And you just work on your stuff in the hallway, and people will stop and ask if you need a hand. There's even people who come to cosplay as cosplay medics who have tape, sewing accessories, everything you need. So I definitely enjoy VTubing to make friends and have fun and collab because I want that community. But the current drama, and I say that more as a ageless statement, as there's always going to be drama, as no, that's the community. People are people. But at the time of this recording, the current drama is the Cinder scandal. And the effect on VTubers is really astounding. Everyone is covering this to the point that even the normies know of it, or at least are hearing about this. Now, my personal favorite VTuber, Smogilana, as I was reading all this information, she posted this. Now, depending on your age, there's two distinct reactions when you see this. One action would be the same as me reacting to a photo being placed of the attack of Pearl Harbor. I read about it. I know it was significant in America's history, but I don't have any emotional attachments to this. On the other hand, with this picture, I do have emotional attachment because I remember, like everyone says, you remember where you were. I remember the creepy eeriness of that day, as you get so used to hearing the background of planes flying overhead. But that day, all planes, except for one, was grounded. The one that was left flying was a organ transplant, I believe. But all other planes were grounded. So you had this eerie quiet. And then the paranormal. That I guess you could call it PTSD, even years later, where during the time, some people wouldn't even go into a building that was 3 stories high. Years later, me and my friends went to visit the 9/11 memorial and go to the observation to the new Trade Centers. And during that time, we talked and learned where the emergency exits were. That was years later. But that's taking it as a global understanding. But in reference to the VTubing community now, I can definitely see where Smuggler was coming from. She's looking at history in the making. And I also see that it's very similar to our community, what happened with the psychological effects. You see, Cinder scandal is the first major scandal. It hit us rock bottom, all the way down to the core. And there's a lasting paranoia that will come out of this. Even now, days later, there's people tweeting that they will never trust another VTuber or support another VTuber. VTubers themselves are saying they would no longer form friendships or collab with any other VTuber. So it's having the same paranoia like 9/11 did for our VTubing community. So this is an apt response, an apt tweet that Smuggler did for our community. So I can definitely see and understand her viewpoint. This is history. This is history that's going to have far-reaching effects for a few years until the fallout is gone. But why did this affect us so? Was it because it involved the queens of our VTubing community? Shy Lily, Numi, Numless. Did it expose VTubing just as a high school filled with mean girls? How does this really reflect on VTubing society as a whole? Well, we kind of need to look at the people first. You see, there's basically currently two generations of VTubers. The first generation were the outcasts. These are your anime nerds, your foxtail warriors, your artists who made anime and got bullied in school. And then the second wave of citizens, which I'm calling the burnouts. These are your business and professional people who are just fed up with either the corporate overlords or got illness and can't return right away to their corporate jobs. And there's a distinct, noticeable difference between the two, especially when they just started their VTubing careers. The burnouts have a very professional side to them. Take Giga as a wonderful, amazing VTuber. She is a professional. She has a definite wall during her stream between her chat and herself. And she takes time to think and relate her emotions, her thoughts. I myself, being a professional burnout, know that I'm more guarded because I'm used to covering my butt. So I don't get written up, fired, and just plain stay out of the corporate drama at the water tank. I myself see some things in VTubing as a little cringe. When I was making my model, I learned that there are family terms associated, such as the artist being named mom or dad, the model themselves being the baby. Other models made by the artist are considered sisters or brothers. To me, this was weird. And I don't use the family terms in this reference. I think of it more of as business transaction. I am paying to have a product made, which is my model. While the first generation, the outcasts, more or less, see it as more of a bonding opportunity with other VTubers, even the artists themselves, calling them the mom, the dad, and then having family collabs with the artists and sister VTubers. But whether your background is, you still have to learn the skill sets of both. The professionals are having to learn to be more open and reliable, and even learn to talk more as we tend to focus more on our work. While the first generations are building professional skills such as building brands, managing, schedule keeping. However, there seems to be a inside joke, a common calling that we all share. We're not calling an illness, a mental illness. The top being anxiety, depression, and PTSD. I myself suffer from all three, thanks to the corporate overlords. But through this common mental illness, a lot of VTubers create safe spaces for ourselves and our chat, our supporters. And this safe space is heavily guarded by both the VTuber and moderators. But are VTubers just copy and paste anime girls to play dress up? No. No. Definitely not. Because I also use this model. This is my second model. I use this model if I'm trolling someone else. But it does and is what I consider a model. But taking that aside, a VTuber's model is very unique and very special to that VTuber. You can basically assume that everything about the model means something very important to the VTuber. From such things as wearing goth clothes, freckles, beauty spots on the model representing spots on their body, to tattoos and clothing representing traumatic surgeries or events in their life. This even applies to VTubers who found their model for free. Yeah, you can't actually get a free VTuber model. Many VTubers who have found free models find one that matches close to what they think, and then they alter it to fit their style and character idea. I mean, let's take my character for example. This is pretty basic model. It was about $600 if I remember correctly, and I wanted a custom model, so I shelled out the money. You can see that my hat represents a very true friend that was with me through the thick and thin. Plus, I love hats. But I also am a female model. You can probably tell by the voice that I'm a guy. But when I play D&D, I play a female character. And that's so I can differentiate between the character and the player. For instance, I was playing a space game where my space fighter was destroyed in combat. When I got back to the carrier, I had a severe yelling at by my wing commander, while my character was feeling embarrassed and angry. As the player, I was laughing. I was having fun. So this helps me not to take things personally. And as many VTuber knows, your chat's going to come at you with negative comments like you're fat, you're ugly. It's like, how can you tell I'm a model? And so you got to differentiate that and not be emotional about it. Another thing is I'm a kitsune, a fox. This again goes back to my D&D games and a part of my lore. As you can tell by the banana, I'll be using that to change into different models. So that's a little bit also about my backstory. The way I dress with a vest and pants are how I dress when I go to play at the card tables, because I love playing cards. I don't like gambling, but I do love winning and playing with the chips. And that's just a few things. There's still several other things about my model that are very personal. So you're basically wearing your heart on your sleeve, if not, model, wearing your heart on your model. Either way, you're still very exposed. If you're planning on using a VTuber as an inspiration for your own character that you're making for a model, then don't shy about sending them a message to see what it means for them. Many VTubers are happy to share what it means personally to them because they know the importance of making your VTuber. So they don't want you to fall into the trap, so to speak. So now that we know the players, so to speak, let's look at the culture. As each VTuber is the president of the community, and the community is basically the nation. So as time goes along, the VTuber builds their own culture, even giving their chats specific names to personalize their supporters, such as smugglers, Powerpuffs, Noombas, and timeless inside jokes are formed. Pranks are performed on both the VTuber, and the VTuber also pranks the chat. All this is to build an atmosphere of what the VTuber wants. Take, for example, Silver Veil. She has a very warm, wholesome, and inviting atmosphere. Or Numi's Noombas, who are very loving and supportive through her bottomless antics and activities. Even the time when the VTuber streams is very important because this forms a routine between the VTuber and the community. The community often listens to their drive to work or other activities. But that's culture. So let's go on to the society of the VTuber community as a whole. And by society, I mean an organized structure functioning as a group of individuals who share a common territory. And that is the VTubing community or streaming. To find something similar to this, we have to go to the, some would say, glory days of the movie industry, such as the 1930s and early 40s, where groups of actors formed and were given names such as the Rat Pack, which featured Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford, and Joey Bishop. Or the Irish Mafia, aka the Boys Club, which had James Caan, Spencer Tracy, Pat O'Brien, Frank Hugh. These groups formed from common identities and backgrounds. The Irish Mafia was a bunch of Irish immigrants. And these groups support each other. When they were broke and just making it into the movie industry, they would sleep on each other's floors, give food to each other, money. And as they made the way into these major actor stars, they still hanged out together, had breakfast to each other, and were supports. And we have that currently in VTubing sphere. The most famous one is the Bikini Bottoms, Charlie, Numi, and Bao. who formed a close friendship because they were there for each other when they were coming up. And they're still with each other as their current queens of VTubers. As VTubers. You don't have to make form group friendships. People like Silver Barrel and Spike just do their own thing, play games and have fun. But this is becoming more of the exception as more and more VTubers enter the space. But if you think about it, VTubing and streaming in general is still a very young industry. And what the Cinder drama has exposed is that even though it's a young industry, there's certain rules, such as when someone gets rated, you thank them for the chat. You don't have to thank them, the VTuber, personally. You just have to thank the people coming in, such as the nice little "Hi, Noombas" and other polite things. But there's definitely one invisible line that cannot be crossed. So let's kind of go back to the movie industry to help explain that. So ever wonder why breaking into the movie industry, or how it's so hard, or how some actors just seem like they disappear overnight? Well, the simple truth of it is because trust and family bonds. Making movies is a long and expensive process, especially if you're on site. You're away from your families. You're away from your other friends. So a almost family-like bond is formed from the shared traumatic experience of making the movie. It's not all fun and games. It's long hours. Sometimes you don't even get to sleep for 48 hours or longer. You're sleeping in tents with 8 to 12 other people. And the weather is constantly messing things up with high winds or raining. And then there's the trust. I mean, would you hire a cameraman that you never worked for and trust them with $100,000 shot? No, you wouldn't. At least I wouldn't. You would go with someone who you knew can handle the shot and who is preferably easy to work with, because you have a schedule meet. You can't stop to handle internal conflicts. You got schedules to keep. So what happens if you're a butt in the industry and no one likes working to you? Well, you're essentially what they call blackballed, where no one will work with you, so you will no longer get jobs. So you just basically fade away. VTubing is very much the same, built on trust, friendship, and bonds. And to those who say that VTubing is not a real job, please tell my tax person that. I would love not to pay taxes. But on the flip side, that you tried to tell a tax person that you play a 2D anime girl for a living, and just watch the confused look on their face. But unlike the movie industry, it's easier to break into. For the low membership cost of a model, which you can find for free, a camera and mic that you can pick up at a pawn shop, and being professional behind the scenes, and being honest with the community, and putting the time to build your community and lasting friendships. Oh, and you have to make react videos to our honorary VTuber, Shoe on Head. You can thank a certain whitetail patient zero for that. Shoe, I know who patient zero is. Contact me. But notice how I didn't say anything about being competitive, nice, or rude. You can be competitive. You can be nice. You can be rude. If that's the atmosphere you want. And still be successful and still make friends. I, for myself, want to be friends with some very brash VTubers because I know they will tell me when I'm being stupid, which happens a lot. So please save me by telling me that I'm being stupid. Now, again, going back to the Senate conflict, a meme has popped up of just business. Why is it just business? Is it because we got hurt? Or is that just the nature of VTubing? Well, it's, as I just said, it's built on trust, family, friendship bonds. So it's very personal business. It is not just business, it's personal business. You are the product. You literally have a model that shows all your insecurities in front of thousands of people. And you're making personal connections as you or as a character, which are still very real connections that you're forming. And all this is around you as a model, as a VTuber. Now, unlike the movie industry, where some things are kept quiet, like cameramen or makeup artists falling out of favor, VTubing is all in the open, and because it's all being streamed, all being recorded, and being covered by multiple sources. Again, Cinder normies knew about Cinder and the drama that's unfolding because so many people are covering it. But there's nothing wrong with wanting to be in this game for money or view counts as your main goal. However, you better be upfront and tell everyone you interact that this is the case. In fact, it should be like the second thing coming out of your mouth is like, hi, I'm in this to make money. And why? Why should I tell everybody I'm in this for money? Because the default option is making friends. VTubing is built on making friends and having fun. So when you reach out to someone, they're going to assume you are going to at least want to be friends off stream before you even collab on stream as friends. And so you have to, if you want to build a relationship built around making money or view counts. And if you're honest like that, you'll find that more people will help you in your goal instead of slinking around bad and sabotaging them. Because the VTubing space is all about supporting others. But you have to be upfront with it. You have to be honest. And unlike a normal job where everyone's there to get through the work and get paid, VTubing is to make friends, grow, and be successful. You don't have to like everyone or work with everyone you don't like or respect. Just respect that they have the same right not to work or like you. And just move on to another community or form another group. It's that easy. Just be respectful of other people's boundaries. So, yeah, you can say VTubing is weird. Personal, absolutely. Chaotic, frequently, if not always. Beautiful, sometimes in the strangest of ways. But whether you're here to make friends, build a brand, grow in numbers, play games, or simply scream into the void that is streaming with a cute anime face, there's still room for you in this society of burnout outcasts that we call VTubers. Just be honest, be respectful, and above all, don't be orca food.